I want to be really clear about what this vote is actually about. This vote is about birth control. This is about life-saving pelvic and breast exams to detect cancer early. And it is about STI testing and treatments. That is the basic reproductive health care that Title X providers deliver to communities, especially to women with the tightest budgets. Republicans are here tonight fighting to undermine health care. It's really that simple. We are here fighting to protect it. I fought long and hard against President Trump's disastrous gag rule. It was a rule that cut Title X provider network in half, forced entire states, including my home state of Washington, out of the Title X program. It forced doctors and nurses to withhold information from their patients on all the options they have, including abortion, and ultimately resulted in patients traveling further, paying more, or going without care. In short, it made it harder for women to get birth control and other critical reproductive health care. And that, to me, is unacceptable. That's why I was really relieved when, after years of fighting back against Republicans' extreme agenda, President Biden acted quickly to reverse that dangerous gag rule, and we could finally start rebuilding the Title X network and providing patients with critical reproductive health care. And I know that patients and providers in my state were relieved too. I heard from them firsthand earlier this month about what this means for our communities. It means that patients in Washington state and across the country can get the birth control they need to plan a family on their own terms. Breast and pelvic exams to detect cancer early, STI testing and treatment, and more. But as has been so often the case, most Republicans were not listening, because tonight they are leading a resolution to bring back the gag rule and deny women across the country access to services made possible by Title X. We are talking about basic life-saving health care like cancer screenings. We're talking about STI screenings, which, by the way, is especially important as cases which had already reported due to decreased screenings have been spiking now. We're talking about birth control that so many patients depend on to stay healthy, to treat health conditions, to plan their families, and control their own reproductive health. Mr. President, the Senate is not in order.
Senators will take their conversations off the floor. The senator from Washington.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, talking about these issues, it is just unthinkable to me that anyone would not support this program. What are Republicans here talking about? They're talking about, once again, taking this health care away from millions of patients, and tonight they're forcing a vote on it. And some extreme Republicans, by the way, are even talking about how they think Griswold versus Connecticut, that's the U.S. Supreme Court case that first struck down a ban on birth control, might have been wrongly decided. This is chilling. The message Republicans are sending tonight with this vote, loud and clear, is that they won't just stop at banning abortion with cruel laws like the ones we have seen in Texas and Oklahoma and across the border from Washington state and Idaho. They are determined to restrict access to all kinds of reproductive health care, from abortion to birth control to STI testing and treatment. Well, Mr. President, we should not stand for this. We can't just let Republicans rip away health care again from women and families. Patients, providers, and families across my state and across the country have spoken out loud and clear on this, and I'm going to make sure that they are heard here in Washington, D.C. I will work hard to make sure we protect Title X from these attacks, and I'm going to make sure everyone who supports this resolution owns what this vote means and who they're voting against. Women who want birth control. That is, by the way, 2/3 of women in this country. Patients who are seeking STI screenings, patients who need a cancer screening, people who are just looking for affordable health care and information from providers that they trust. Because you know what? Women were not going to forget this. Which party is fighting to protect birth control, and which party is doing everything they can to rip your birth control away. I urge every single one of my colleagues to join with me in voting against this resolution. Thank you, Mr. President.